right, we'd like to welcome everybody to our Tech Talk for the month of March. Welcome. We're happy to have you here. Today's Tech Talk is going to be about if you are anxious about the economy, here is how to make more money in 2023. And very excited about this. Obviously, this is a topic that everybody is interested in, especially with the state of the economy right now, and how we can help business out with making some more of that much needed revenue to keep businesses rolling. So if you haven't ever joined us for a Tech Talk before, we do these once a month, and they're a nice casual conversation where we just talk about some of the topics of the day and just how that relates to digitizing your business. And we usually have a guest speaker as well to help us with this, and I'll get into that in just a moment. But I'm going to take some time to talk about some housekeeping items for right now. And those are that this is a recorded event. So we do recording of these every single month. And after we are done with them in a day or two, we will put them up on our website and also our YouTube channel. So if you'd like to go back and visit them later, or if you're watching them now, thank you very much. And you can go ahead and access those at any time on our website or YouTube channel. Feel free to submit any questions if you are watching this live. We will try to answer them at the end of the session. Please go ahead and submit those through either the chat feature or the Q&A feature that is on Zoom here. And that's actually my third point, is that we do have the chat feature available. So if you have anything that you want to include or ask, please do so through the chat, and we'll get to that as soon as we possibly can. All right, so my name is Scott Englert. I am the Director of Marketing Relations at Axsoft, and I have the pleasure to introduce my co-speaker for today, which is Andrew King. And Andrew is the Vice President of Sales Operations. He has been with Axsoft for 12 years. And one interesting thing that you'd like to know about Drew is that he loves to tell corny jokes, especially dad jokes, which I am also a fan of. So I believe you had at least one corny dad joke prepared for today. So
always have one on cue.
You want to hit us with one of them?
Always have one on cue. This one was a little bit directed for our business owners and or operations managers who may join the Tech Talk. But yeah, so I had an employee show up for work late today. And when I asked him, I told him, I was like, you should have been here at 8:30. And so he turns to me and asks me, he's like, well, why? What happened at 8:30? And I'm like, it's like, come on.
Unbelievable.
So, just a little corny dad joke, but in all seriousness, you got to know where your employees are and what's going on with your employees, especially in today's times. You need to maximize, as much out of every employee as possible in every facet of the business operations model. So we're here today to try to help you guys out with some tips and some information that would hopefully help you guys, increase your operational efficiency and then increase that bottom line.
Absolutely. That was a great transition, I gotta say. Have you done any radio work in the past?
I have.
Oh boy. Okay. I wasn't expecting that. Let's not get into that.
Another conversation.
Yes, exactly.
That'll be the next tidbit.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's awesome. All right. So let's get right into it. We are going to talk about making more money in 2023. If you're anxious about the economy, this is a great talk for you. And we're going to jump right in and get into one of our features right away, and that is wireless forms. And we talk about digitizing and making forms, paper forms that can be very cumbersome. How do we go ahead and use wireless forms to make a company more money?
Yeah, great question. This is probably by far my favorite feature within our solution that we offer. So much you can do with it. So let's just, take a couple of tips off the top. With the wireless forms, it allows for the performance of jobs, costing activities to be on demand. We have things like customizable list that live on the wireless form so that an employee in the field could just grab that information as they need. So it allows for then securing your customers from any location, anytime, on any device, a lot easier and a lot faster. So, being able to have that information at your field employees or technicians' fingertips. It helps identify gaps in equipment. Our wireless forms, again, coupled with our list, have allowed companies to use them as inventory checklists or just inventory management. Also, just making sure that they're selecting the correct types of equipment and or parts when they're out there on the job by having not only conditional fields, but then required fields. And then it, just allows the employees to, or empowers the employees to, review their accounts for additional services and that a customer's, needs that may come up. And again, with the transfer capabilities, it makes it extremely powerful so that you're not waiting for a paper form to be, dropped off to another location to have a supervisor sign off on it, or to have it transferred to somebody else in the company, I'd say at the end of the day, to then process invoicing. These things are readily available once they're submitted through the handheld device, phone or tablet, to get to the back end office to then perform their work as far as invoicing or any other actions that may have needed to be taken based upon what was put in on the wireless form.
Hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. So it's a lot of talking about, just digitizing that process, making it easier, having the accountability there, and then getting the information to and from in a quicker manner. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Which is,
Yeah.
as we all know, this time honored quote of "time is money." That's absolutely so true in so many businesses.
Yeah.
So if you can save time here and there, that's gonna make all the difference. So.
Absolutely. And just to
Um,
add to that, I mean, you can't make back up time. Once it's
yeah.
gone, it's gone. You can make up money. So, let us help you make back up that money that could have been lost by allowing you to save the time like you were just mentioning.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. And one of the biggest things that we talk about as far as time goes is uh, scheduling and dispatching, and
Hmm.
being able to really, really make that as efficient as possible so that the time is there for some field workers to possibly pick up more jobs per day. Obviously, we know if you can do more jobs per day, you're going to make more money, right?
Hmm.
So let's talk a little bit about dispatching and how digital scheduling and dispatching works in that aspect.
Yeah, very powerful tool as far as managing time wisely and balancing the workloads per employee. So, with our dispatching, one piece to understand is that it also has a calendar view to it as well. So allows you the visibility to really see what jobs are being placed upon each worker's schedule. On top of that, within our dispatching, we allow for the customization of the length of time a job should take. So, it takes the guesswork out. So if you've got a lawn maintenance crew out there and one of their jobs may be to do a standard servicing, which should take, let's just say, half an hour. It'll already book that job at that time slot based upon the type of dispatch work order we're saying that it is. So now it's already going to chunk that 30-minute block to that schedule. So now when you're going to add or maneuver work orders, you can see them in the proper time placement that that job should take. So it allows you to then balance out that workload better. Coupled in with our GPS functionality, it's actually really powerful because now you can see who is the closest employee or work crew to the job location that you are trying to assign. So again, takes away the guesswork or takes away from having to pick up the phone and say, hey, where are you? Or are you in this location? Or, can you make it here on time? What else do you have left on your plate? You have the full visibility to see, again, everything that's on their schedule, also know who's the closest to that job, and then route that job immediately based upon either the time preferred or who's going to be closest to that location. So two key pieces that make it a very powerful tool when it comes into just expediting how and making the most sense out of how you actually schedule the work out there in the field. Again, it can eliminate the downtime and any overlaps by having that view within the scheduler to see where any gaps are so that you could fill in those extra jobs, and then make sure that your workloads are distributed evenly, as mentioning as well. One other newer feature, which is really great, and I mentioned this again tied in with lawn service, and this isn't specific to lawn service, but any service industries where you have a standard scheduled job, whether again lawn service, it could be for HVAC where you're going out to do a seasonal servicing for your clients. We have a ability to create what are called recurring work orders. So this way, if you know the schedule is set up to where you're going to do a job once a week, once a month, twice a year, quarterly, however you have it set up, our recurring work order feature allows you that functionality to have those work orders created on the day and the time that they should be scheduled. They can even be automatically dispatched if you already know the team or the technician that you would like to manage that job, or it can just be in your work order bucket ready to be dispatched, again, based upon availability and or proximity.
Absolutely. And that all kind of goes back to the customer service aspect of it, where you can easily take that and increase the customer service to the clients that you already have and keep those clients for longer, keep them happy. I have a perfect example of this that's happening with me today, which is I've got a consignment company coming to pick up some furniture that we're trying to sell.
Nice.
And when I talked to them earlier on this week, I said, hey, do you know when you might be here? Because I work from home and I've got all kinds of stuff going on. So maybe I can schedule it out, et cetera. And they were able to look at their schedule and say, oh, we have 7 pickups that day, and you're number 6 in the dispatching queue, and so you'll be right within. They actually gave me about an hour time frame where I now know that they're going to be here from 5 to 6 area, and I can be ready and have the
Yeah,
dogs put up, and so it's honestly it really is a big help, to have that stuff. So for me, on the customer service side, that just makes me want to be, continue to use them as a business,
absolutely. And there's one other thing that we could toss in there for them that would help them out is some text notifications to let you know when that actual van is on
Absolutely.
route. We do have that feature, by the way.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, which is a fantastic one too. I get that from my lawn service company that
Yeah.
they come, they spray and they text me to let me know. And again, that's a huge thing because I do have dogs and I can't, let the dogs out when they're here. They'll just take off outside
Just
the
the
gate
welcome.
and
It's just
they're
the
off.
welcome committee. It's just the
Yeah,
welcome
they're all
committee.
off to say hi. Yeah, exactly. So, uh,
With
so
big
absolutely.
smiles.
Right. So I mean, it is. It's those little things can sometimes seem like not that big of a deal, but in your customer's mind, they can make all the difference.
Huge difference. Yes,
Yeah, and we all know keeping customers is so much easier than getting new ones. So you want to make sure that they're happy. So, absolutely.
absolutely. Yeah.
Um, so let's move on to some mobile timekeeping stuff. Another big feature that we have that really can help companies out. So how can mobile timekeeping possibly help make a company some more money?
Yeah. So, I mean, one of the big obvious, well, I'll call it obvious, but one of the biggest things, the areas of where it helps out is to allow for more time to be done, doing their actual work or job. There's still, it's surprising how many companies who have a mobile workforce still have their employees come into the office to clock in and then go out and manage their work for the day. And this can tie into a few of our other features as well. But again, just simply having the ability to have your employees start their day from, say, their house or their home, to then save time from traveling to come into the office, save gas as well, to then you'll just start calculating their time spent working is huge. Plus the fact of making it digital instead of handwritten removes error for mistakes of where, oh, maybe you have somebody who has that perfect time card 8 to 5 every day. In reality, they may be working, starting their day at 8:05 or 8:10. By having it handwritten, it takes, the visibility away from seeing, how many minutes are spent not actually working, where they may seem minute, but when you then add them up times, X number of employees, 10 minutes a day times 10 employees, that's over an hour and a half a day. When you start to add that up, then per week, per month, those numbers really start to grow exponentially to where you start to realize you could be throwing thousands of dollars out your door, every day on payroll that did not attribute to actual work performed.
Yeah, especially
Um,
when that rolls over into overtime. If you have that going, I mean, that can easily add up quickly. Yeah.
Easily,
Hmm.
easily, absolutely. So it really just helps minimize the unnecessary trips to the office, helps make sure the data is collected accurately. with the GPS functionality as well, it helps validate that an employee is where they should be when they're clocking in or out from work. I've heard numerous stories of business owners or managers not sure, or excuse me, not to say not sure, but realizing after the fact that they've seen their employees were, staying clocked in, 2 or 3 hours after they've completed their job, but are sitting in a parking lot somewhere. And it's like there's not, and if they're taking 2 or 3 hours to fill out paperwork, that's another reason to use our wireless forms. But those are those areas where without that visibility, you just don't know what's going on, and it just helps keep the information a lot cleaner. And in reality as well, it's helpful for the employee. It helps any disputes for an employee saying, no, I was here on this day to work and I work this time. So it's not just for the company, it's also for the employee's benefits as well. To verify that, yes, I was at a job and doing my work at this time, to make sure they have that proof right there in front of them with, again, the GPS to geocode where that timestamp took place. And then as well as just having that digital time entry and it's not been manipulated, in any shape, form, or fashion. So very powerful in those two regards. And then just having all your timekeeping records available for your back end or your HR payroll attendant. All that information is sent back instantaneously so they can keep better track of, like you mentioned, things of overtime, or does somebody work their correct scheduled hours, so that way it makes any kind of discrepancies, or at least allows for them to be handled in a much more timely manner, allows for payroll to be processed a lot faster, and hopefully keeps employees happy knowing that their time they're being paid for is accurate and, again, being paid on time as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all great stuff. And when you go back to what you kind of first mentioned about being able to clock in and out from their home, or right when they first start, that ties right back into the doing more jobs per day. If let's say somebody has their neighbor that needs service done, yet they have to go all the way into the office, which is 30 minutes away, 20 minutes away, whatever, and then come right back out. They could easily do that job by clocking in, go right over, do it. They've got time for one or two more jobs in that day, and now you made even more money for the business. So it can really make a big difference, even though, yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, because just that time wasted, I will tell you what we've seen from our customers is that we've been able to at least add on an extra job per week per employees by having them utilizing both the timekeeping functionality and that mobile dispatching, just those two alone. So again, when you're talking about it, not only are we going to help save time to get the current work done, but then we're also going to help add more work, to that to the day for each employee to allow that business to make more money.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. Yeah, excellent. So, let's talk a little bit about GPS tracking. We
Yeah.
did talk a little bit about the accountability stuff from the mobile timekeeping side, and not only accountability on the employee, but then on the business as well, to have that kind of functionality tied in
Mhm.
to, and it does tie into the mobile timekeeping as well. So kind
It
of a cool
ties
cool thing
into
as well. Yeah,
everything.
it
It
kind
is
of
the
does. Yeah,
backbone of what we do. And
yeah.
really, we are beyond the days of GPS being considered a big brother type of tool. It's really helpful for validation and verification. So again, coupled with the timekeeping or the forms, it'll let you know where the location was when somebody submitted that information, which is great for validation. But it also helps keep, accurate of, miles driven if you're having to pay somebody per mile as they're driving around throughout their day. And not even just for the actual employee, but when we're talking about assets such as vehicles and or heavy equipment, we have an actual asset tracking solution to where you can keep track of your heavy equipment or any type of asset that you need to make sure is not just growing feet and moving around. But really what we've seen from the our customers who have maybe things like mobile signs that are used for traffic, directions of traffic, or some who, track their porta potties or just roll off containers. Things like those can be, surprisingly enough, kind of lost, not on purpose, but you move around with so many jobs, it kind of, it's easy to lose track of where did you leave that piece of equipment or that asset. And so having, constant location verification will help you quickly find your equipment when needed, but then also allocate it to new job sites better. Again, going into the closest to functionality, by seeing where your equipment is, you can then reroute somebody who is closer to that piece of equipment to pick it up and drop it off to a new work location instead of just guesswork. So that's really helpful in that case. But then again, with the customer service standpoint, customers nowadays want to make sure they know what work was done, especially when we talk about people who are in lawn care or maybe pool service. Having the validation to say, yes, I could send you a text confirmation of when I arrived and when I left, but then also being able to show a report that shows, again, here's when I arrived, here's how much time I spent on your property, here's when I left, is very powerful, and especially in the security industries. A lot of our security companies or customers that are in the security industry, they like to provide our reporting to their customers to show everywhere their security guards went during their shifts. So they can see each post that they checked, when they've checked it, and verify how many times they've made trips around the property to ensure that the work that's being performed is being done correctly. So again, the GPS is such a powerful backbone tool, and there's so many different ways to really, utilize it and get some value and benefits from it.
Yeah, that's a great point. That last one there, because like you said, we're beyond the big brother stuff, because it's really is the accountability part, but it protects the business, from that aspect of being able to really show those records and say,
Mhm.
"No, my guy was there. I can I have confirmed documentation that shows exactly where they were, how long they were on the job, what they did, etc." So all those types of things really do help protect the business,
Yes.
from unnecessary complaints and then the expenses that come with that, in order to try and keep those customers happy, etc. So yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about, for the final kind of topic here, API integrations and how some of those APIs integrations with other products can help businesses to make more money in the long run.
Absolutely. And this is really a game changer. In this era of where we are today, data is so important to everybody. Everybody says data, data, data. You really can use the data to make so many different key decisions and judgments. By us having an API, an open API, it's game changing. It works two ways. One, it'll allow a business to import in information that they may need to put into our system. So just to make the reference for work orders. Somebody may have their own CRM system where they generate their work orders from, but it may not have the capabilities to, dispatch mobilely and or those capabilities to, verify when somebody's arrived on the job, what was done while they were on the job. So we can take that basic, customer information from their current CRM system, have that imported into our teamwork solution to have those work orders automatically created. And again, following with some of our principles, they can be automatically dispatched if that worker's information is already tied to it from the CRM, or it can just be set up and ready for that dispatcher to, instead of printing out a work order, actually then dispatch it electronically to that employee in the field. And then it works both ways. That employee in the field can then collect all the information needed for that work assignment that they were on, input that into the actual work order and possibly the wireless forms that they're using, and then have that information funneled right back into that customer's original CRM to then close out the loop on that work order, which then probably leads to invoicing. So it's removing what would be those manual processes of either re-inputting information, transcribing it from one system to another, and allowing the same in retrospect in reverse to then avoid having to handwrite information in or manage a data entry piece. It's going to automatically go back and forth. So even not just to speak to two systems, but the open API will allow then for companies to do much more with their data. A lot of people are using other applications such as like Tableau, or they're using Microsoft Power BI to then get more analytics off of the data that's being collected. So again, we can tie into either of those systems to allow then for the data that we collect to go into a more advanced reporting solution to get more information, such as like heat maps or trending that they would like to see from that data. So it's extremely important. And again, just reducing the amount of data entry duplication, especially when it comes to errors. If anybody's doing any kind of data entry, there are the possibilities for errors. You're going to maybe make a false keystroke, or you're trying to read someone's handwriting to then transfer it into something digital. So yeah, having that API is a huge game changer, and it just allows for so many more options and flexibility from the solution itself.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Taking out any of those steps that not only saves time, but like you said, mistakes and just overall having that cohesiveness really helps for sure. Yeah. So awesome. So we've obviously talked a lot about a bunch of different features and things that we have going on to help digitize in order to make more money. All these things are included in our flagship solution, which is called Teamworks. And we've kind of been talking about it here and there. So I wanted to take this time to tell you guys a little bit about a promotion that we have going on here. So if any of these things made sense to you as far as something that you might want to try in order to help make your business more money, you can do that right now. We skipped over the questions part. I'm going to go back to questions because I'm already rolling on this. But so right now we have a 14-day free trial that we have going on with Teamworks. And one of the really cool things about this free trial is that it is not a watered down version or a light version of our software at all. It is the real deal. You get every one of these features that we've been talking about. You also get the onboarding process. So, our team helps you set everything up, get you, really configured to the way that works best for your business and how you can possibly make money with some of these features. So if you're interested at all, this is a great opportunity to do that and try it out for 14 days for free and see what it's all about, see if you like it. You can do so by going to our website, axoff.com. There's a big banner right up at the top that you can click on and it says start for free. Or you can go to the website that's on the screen right now, which is axoff.com, try Teamworks for free. It has a little sign up form and we reach out to you right afterwards and get you all set up. So I definitely take advantage if you think it's something right for you. Okay, I'm going to jump back to the questions and see if we have any from our chat or the Q&A on Zoom here. 1 second, let me see. So I do not see anything, which is okay because that just means that we did a great job, right, Andrew? we,
Exactly. Exactly.
we already answered questions by explaining things. No, so obviously, if you do have any questions that you come up with later on, feel free to reach out to us on our website or give us a call. It's all we'd be more than happy to show you a demo or answer any questions or anything like that. That pretty much does it for today. So I'd like to thank everybody who joined us live today, and those of us or those of you who are watching this on the recording, thank you as well. And also a thank you to my guest Andrew. Really got some great insight today. I really appreciated talking through some stuff and really figure out how businesses can make more money using some of these tools.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on, and I appreciate being a guest, and I hope everyone finds this information helpful and useful.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Until next time, we'll see you later. Thank you so much.